inspiration and truth. Hello, precious people. Let us see the Jewish Messiah as described by the Dead Sea Scrolls. The 4Q521, a series of fragments originally from a cross of the Dead Sea Scroll collection. It dates to the 2nd or 1st century BC and gives a description of the Jewish Messiah from the perspective of the Jewish Essen Qumran community. It reads, "The heavens and the earth will listen to his God's Messiah, and none therein will stray from the commandments of the holy ones. He who liberates the captives, restores sight to the blind, heals the bent, for he will heal the wounded, resurrect the dead, and bring good news to the poor." This is strongly similar to Jesus' answer to John the Baptist's disciples in Luke 7:22 and Matthew 11:5 when they inquire as to whether he, Jesus, is the Messiah or not. And he answered them, "Go and tell John what you have seen and heard. The blind receive their sight, the lame walk, lepers are cleansed, and the deaf hear, the dead are raised up, the poor have good news preached to them." Both 4Q521 and the Gospel passages reference Isaiah and the Psalms. However, 4Q521 is specifically taking a structure right from Psalms 146 and says that when the Messiah comes, all creation, both in heaven and earth, will obey the Messiah. It ascribes actions of God to the Messiah, stating that the Messiah will act both on behalf and with the authority of God. In other words, when Paul in Colossians 1:16 described Jesus by saying that, "For by him all things were created in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities, all things were created through him and for him." This will not necessarily have surprised our first century Jewish messianic expectations. Does this describe a high view of Messiah? Certainly. But what 4Q521 shows us is that it will not have been completely inappropriate or out of the question to describe the Messiah with such a high Christological status. Therefore, we can conclude that even the Jewish had the description of a Messiah, but they never accepted him when he came. The misunderstanding came because they expected a militant and political Messiah, but Jesus was a peaceful Messiah and was using God's power even to release people from the spiritual power and bondage of the devil. That is where misunderstanding came. Shalom.